Alex Jones puts out a warning, a false flag, and it actually brings up very valid points. We're going to discuss what he stated and why it's important for us to pay attention, because if our eyes are not open and we're not wise in what's going on, I'm scared we will fall for anything. Wait till you hear what he says. Also, DHS comes out and tells their agents' families, please be careful. There has been a call for violence against the DHS agents and the ICE agents. When is there ever a time in history that we would allow for people who are absolutely obeying the law to allow for people who are disobeying the law to make these open threats and us not calls and, actually stop the threats from going on? You'll be blown away by this story. Wait till you hear this. And again, when we do the right thing, sometimes it comes with consequences, and that's not right, especially when it comes down to we're the ones obeying the law. Whew. Let's talk about that a little bit more. Also, we're going to New York City. Mamdani, he just said he wants to overtax you, he is literally going to tax you more than you make. Over half of what you make will go to taxes. He's going to put an extra 2% on the wider neighborhoods, and also he wants to take away your Second Amendment rights. He wants to abolish property rights. Now, that would be a big deal for New York City because New York City is the one that's elected him overwhelmingly. But here's the thing. Most Democrats are supporting him. Wait till you see the No Kings protest and how the same people that's supporting Mamdani is absolutely paying for the platform of No Kings protest. What that means is those are the same ones, and the platform that Mamdani stands for is actually what they're embracing for the No Kings protest. So that shows it is a Democratic problem, and it's going to keep on showing its ugly head above it. Now, we're going to dive into a little bit of the Supreme Court. We're also going to talk about what Elon Musk said. So much in this video. Let's dive in and get started. Hey guys, welcome to our channel. Thank you so very much for being here. Again, we're so humbled. We're so humbled by you being here and supporting us each and every day. Our goal, hopefully, is to share things that is helping you become wiser and have a better common sense approach to the world that we live in. The things that I tell you, you look at the cat, see, she's even interested. The things that I tell you is things that your grandfather and grandmother probably would have said. Things that allow you to say, you know what, that's just common sense. Well, let's dive into these stories, because this proves that either we're going to stand for liberty and freedom, or we're going to stand, well, to be honest with you, we won't be standing at all. We'll be under full persecution. Let's dive into these stories, and this will prove my point. Now, one thing that Alex Jones just came out and stated, and there's a lot of things that Alex Jones says. Some of it's wise, some of it's way out there. I understand that some of his stuff is crazy. But I did like what he said, and he brought this up because I do believe that we're going to see this. I believe the church thing, and they were trying to say it was a Trump supporter. I believe you're going to see more of this take place. I want you to listen to what he says. He says, false flag alert. If we don't get ahead of this, people are going to buy it. Alex Jones issues an emergency warning to the American people about a mass casualty event that could be blamed on President Trump and his supporters. The fuse is lit, and you wait, it's going to take place. And he brought up, I watched this little snippet of his show, how, all it's going to take is one person wearing some kind of red hat. All it's going to take is one person saying they're doing this for Christianity. Now, that doesn't mean that's true. But they could be so deranged to then make a false flag that the Trump is to be just as violent as the left. That Trump supporters are just as dangerous as the left. So there's no such thing as violence without violence, like Kamala Harris said, like the No Kings protest said. Now, because the No Kings protest has been pushed off and trying to build up with this shutdown, what they're trying to do, Chuck Schumer even said, he is trying to get more of an aggressive stance where people stand against Trump. Well, think about this. All of a sudden, you had some false flag event where a guy in a red hat claims to be a Trump supporter, causes a mass casualty event at a historical black college, or at a liberal institution, or in these cities when they're having a protest. See, here's what I'm saying. That's exactly what Alex Jones is saying. He's saying that will take place. He said, not because it's true derangement. He said, I believe that's the false flag that we're going to see. Now, is he right? Is he wrong? I don't know. That's for you to judge. But here's what I am saying. When we get this information, this is proof positive of the Charlie Kirk situation. Candace Owens, Ian Carroll, Dave Smith, even Tucker Carlson, all these people are coming out and complete and utter trying to justify their situation and their way of thinking by influencing you to believe that his wife, his best friends, his person that he wanted for the president, Donald Trump, everyone in his organization actually calls this, along with Israel, not the leftist loon. It's called the horseshoe effect, and here's what I want you to pay attention to. You have the left and right. Then you have the utter left that's completely lost their mind, that believes that the government's against them, but they believe it to a point where they need complete and utter communism. Then you go all the way around the circle to where you have the extreme right, and now they're coming around and believing the government is against them, and they believe that nobody has it right but them. So when you come to that horseshoe, it starts bending back closer together. The more you listen to Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, Ian Carroll, Dave Smith, these kind of people, the more they're becoming almost like the same thing and the same person talking like the left is talking. They almost become the same derangement, and all they're doing is putting a little spin on it. You know, Myron Gaines is another one that's on this extreme right. He's a Sudanese American. You know, his name's not really Myron Gaines. His name is, you can't pronounce it. Let me give you his name. The reason I want to bring this up and how important it is, because the false flag that Alex is talking about is exactly what this is. We're seeing these kind of things play out to where, no, it wasn't the left. It wasn't the dangerous trans person. It was actually the right and the establishment. Now, I'm one who does not support the establishment. I'm one who believes that the government can be absolutely corrupted. We talked about that in the last few days. But to believe that the right is destroying its own leader like Charlie, and it's the Trump part of it, and it's his best friends and his wife? Come on. We're losing our mind. Nick Fuentes, if these are the leaders of the right, I'm scared to see what's actually going to take place. I want you to listen to what Myron Gaines' real name is. Amru Foodle. His real name is not Myron Gaines. He's a Sudanese American host of Fresh and Fit. His goal was to then put on a different context to say that he was not who he says he was. What we're realizing with this woke right, this alt-right, again, I'm a Christian conservative, full threadbare non-establishment, but we are seeing the destroying of the right based on these people. And that is exactly why I believe what Alex said in this video is the false flag is already out. Something will take place to hurt the Trump base more than anything. And sadly, the alt-right, the woke right, is getting so close to the left that actually it's going to play in the same favor and benefit the left more than it will the right. I brought up in a Twitter post just yesterday, I believe you're going to see a third-party candidate rise out of this. Here's what's going to happen. Because the woke right has destroyed our base and the Christian movement, the conservative movement, the MAGA movement, what they're going to do is they're going to come behind someone who is going to be completely centered, meaning he may be fiscally conservative, but he's going to be uber liberal when it comes to his social views. Very libertarianish. And so what he's going to do, he's going to appeal to independence, of course, but then what he's going to do is appeal to the woke right. It's going to be someone like Dwayne Johnson. It's going to be someone like Thomas Massey, Marjorie Taylor Greene, someone who plays in the middle. They have a little bit of a conservative lean, but to be honest with you, they don't like Israel, and they tend to pull more towards the middle when it comes to issues that are liberal, such as leave me alone, libertarianish. You watch, and what it's going to do, they're not going to win. But what it's going to do is it's going to splinter the right, and all of a sudden the left is going to take back over. That's why all this goes together. And what Alex is saying, he says some crazy things sometimes, but I absolutely believe he is far on point on this thing of the false flag, because I believe what you're seeing is the right eat itself alive, and you see the left needing an excuse to cause for violence, needing a way to win because they have lost emphatically. The Supreme Court rule, if all of a sudden we get these seats that they have been gerrymandering for all this time, especially in the South, like in Mississippi, Louisiana, Alabama, the left is going to lose every election when it comes to Congress from here on out, other than the extreme liberal states. But see, they need the false flag, so Chuck Schumer is amping up No King's protest. You're starting to see the woke right almost work for the left, and now you're seeing these false flags. This is a very dangerous situation we're putting ourselves in. So I believe Alex Jones is exactly right when he says, be very wary of this false flag. It's right in front of us. And if something happens, like Charlie Kirk, don't be influenced by some of the bad players. Don't be influenced by the people who don't bring the true receipts. See, what Candace and Ian and all these people do is they bring you just enough of a little disagreement or a little context, and then they spin it, just like politicians do. And then all of a sudden, people take a hook, line, and sinker. We cannot do that anymore. Now let's jump into the second story, because I think this is really big, especially on the cusp of this No King protest. I want you to listen to what the DHS just said to their people that's in charge. That's going on, that's actually trying to fight this situation in the circles of these liberal cities. It says, DHS warns ICE agents being hunted online, and hopefully they will not get doxxed, but pretty much they're telling these families, please be very careful. It says the Department of Homeland Security just issued a chilling alert. ICE agents and their families are being doxxed and targeted for record numbers of over 1,000% in spike of assaults since this summer. Federal officials and Antifa-linked groups are trying to get more information on these people, doxing them and their family, and threatening them or causing harm. It says the amount of crimes against the ICE agents are up 1,000%. It says DHS claims that gangs like MS-13 and several other gangs are using the data to harass, and they're absolutely helping fund the cartels, and these gangs are trying to help fund these Antifa militant groups to then go in and cause problems for the ICE agents and their family. Why? To scare them, because ultimately the gangs and the cartels need the ICE agents to leave them alone so they can go ahead and spread drugs again in America. See, it all goes together. It shows the civil unrest problem that we're having and the fact that no one is actually helping. Another situation, if you go back and look in history, they call it it was the last few years, but it's called the Podesta emails or the Podesta files. And what John Podesta, which worked for Barack Obama, worked for Hillary Clinton, dear friends of theirs, very evil guy, him and his brother, big Democrat operatives. But it was about, not let anything go to waste, such as these chaos and crazies. But really what they were doing was saying that if Trump wins, and this was back in 2016, but they said if Trump wins and all this stuff goes through and his fruition plans go through, Project 2025, this last 2020 election, all this kind of stuff, if this goes through, then what you're going to see is liberal governors, liberal mayors, liberal cities stand up against it, and we're going to start seeing signs of civil unrest or civil war. We're seeing that right now. We're seeing this play out right now. And then all of a sudden, the right is eating their own. You see how dangerous this time can get? I believe we can see a spark to alight all this, and with the fact of a volatile dollar, with the fact that our grid is in shambles, and the fact that we have cartels and people backing these Antifa militant groups, and now we have one of the biggest leaders in the Democrat Party telling you they're going to overtax you and take your guns away. That's what Bam Donnie says. Wait till you hear this story. You see, we're in a very precarious situation, and now we see that our agents, the people that are working to work for the Constitution to save our borders and keep our cities safe, are getting doxxed by people who are illegally trying to hurt them. Why? Where is the DOJ? Where is the DOJ? Why are we not arresting mass amounts of these people? Not for protesting, not for going out and picketing, for causing absolute harm and harassment. Where is our leadership on this when it comes to DOJ? Can we please get a new Attorney General? For some reason, Trump, I love Trump, but he sucks at picking AGs. From Bill Barr to Jeff Sessions to Pam Bondi. I wasn't a big Matt Gaetz fan either, but what I'm saying is, where is the real people who will do the job? Before this Trump administration went in, I said Stephen Miller is the one that actually needs the AG job. I pushed for that. AG job should be Stephen Miller. Let's do that, because he's the only one actually speaking some hard common sense, and I believe that he could serve and actually put these people behind bars who are threatening our agents. So we have people not breaking the law that's actually getting doxxed, and the people that are breaking the law, we're not wrapping up and actually putting them in jail. It's unbelievable. It even says that there is bounties on the ICE chief's head. It says up to $50,000 for ICE agents and ICE chiefs basically put on because of the cartels, such as the Latin Kings. It says that they are trying to bust tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 people, and they're willing to give $1, $2, $5, $10, $15, $20, $50,000 to take out these agents. That is utter threats to Americans' way. I just don't even understand why we're even having this conversation and why this is not just all of a sudden taking these people out, including these cartels. If these cartels are working in Mexico, take them out, because they're threatening our way of life. They're threatening who we are. Now, this leads me to another point. If America wants to be exceptional, and I'm just going to be completely honest, and you may not like this, if America wants to be exceptional, it needs to have people who are not coming here and that just come in here, not assimilate and become leaders of our cities, representatives, and congressmen. I think of Rashida Tlaib. I think of Ilhan Omar. You think of those people, they don't love America. They love their foreign country and coming here trying to change America. Well, prime example with Zohran Mamdani. He has an 85% chance of winning this New York mayorship. I want you to just listen to some of the things he stands for, because it goes right into the No Kings protest in the Democratic Party. Listen to this. Zohran Mamdani says if he's elected, New Yorkers should expect to give a 52% tax of their payroll. 52%. We're griping about 25, 30, 35%. I believe it should be 3 or 4% maybe at the most. 10 at a flat tax, and no credits, no anything, no any extra benefits. That the government can't make it on that, the government should shut down. But I digress. He's wanting to take 52%. And on top of that, if you're in a white neighborhood and you're an affluent person, then you get another 2%. So if you're in white neighborhoods that are safe, you have to then get overtaxed to take care of the bad neighborhoods in New York City. Also, let's keep on going with what else he said. On top of this tax, now he's stating, and he posted this. This was from his Twitter account. It says, we need to ban all guns, all rights to own guns. Second Amendment right doesn't matter in America anymore based on what he's saying for New York City. This is the same guy who's overwhelmingly getting supported by Democrats. John Jay, who I have not talked about a lot, going for Virginia, I think AG. If you listen to him, he's talking about violence against conservatives and against these people against him, and somehow the Democrats are still overwhelmingly supporting him. Same way with Mamdani. We see the support for Democrats being completely violent and not American whatsoever. Listen to this. Not only does he want to ban your Second Amendment rights, not only does he want to overtax you, he said in an interview just yesterday, he believes that we should abolish private property. There should be no reason for people to own private property. And if they do, it needs to be such a high property tax that they cannot and will not want to own it for much longer. He also said that he could not speak ill will towards Hamas. So this is the leader that's supposed to be over the biggest city in America. Now, most people like me would say, well, Colby, I don't live next to New York City. I'm not going to New York City. Let them have it. Here's the problem. Let's go to the No Kings protest planned for 2 days from now. Why is it a big deal, and why does this matter? This is from a guy named Stu. It says, not going to lie, no more do I look hands off on the posters posted around New York City along with other big cities, the No Kings Day Saturday, the more I question who's over these rallies. It says the fact that the Communist Party of the USA is listed as a co-sponsor, the fact that the Freedom Socialist Society, and also everyone that is representing everything that's not American is part of this, including more Muslim groups and also more socialist and communist groups that want to take out America's freedom. One of the biggest supporters is the Democratic Socialists of America, which Zohran Mamdani is part of. That is the same group that's backing this platform of banning the Second Amendment, abolishing your property tax, and also overtaxing you. That will be the plan. You know why? Because Ilhan Omar, because people like AOC are now the faces of the Democratic Party. They have pretty much allowed for the wildness of the left to then overtake the establishment left, which is crazy in itself. But Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, they're starting to lose their power to these kind of people, which will ultimately be their platform going forward. The reason the No Kings protest is a big deal, the reason Zohran Mamdani is a big deal is not because of New York. It's because this is their platform. This is what they stand for. And when you have the woke right, who is absolutely pandering to them, that's standing beside them calling Hamas, not the bad guys. I mean, Tucker Carlson actually said that Hamas is a political group that's trying to see well of their people. Did you hear him say that? He didn't call them a terror group. He called Israel dangerous. He called Netanyahu dangerous, but did not call Hamas dangerous. So that's the same thing that that Myron Gaines, who's a Sudanese American, said about how he believes Hamas is not the bad guy. He believes Germany and Hitler was not the bad guy. It was the Jews. The Jews are the reason for the problem. You see, that same mentality, that's what Mamdani has talked about. He's a sympathizer of Hamas. The Democrat Socialist platform is a sympathizer of Hamas. They're pro-Palestine rallies, and they're against Christianity and Jewish ways. Is that the American way that you wanted? Let's go back to the very first thing I said about Alex Jones. The false flag. We're so close to something majorly happening. And because everything is going in the Trump way, even down to this voter situation with the Supreme Court, be very wary that there could be some mass casualty event or some major catastrophic event that will be blamed on the right. Because that's what the left needs. That's what the woke right needs. And that's what would destroy the MAGA movement. Pay attention to this. Now, another thing that should scare you to pieces, because it's the best news that we can hear, but when light is shined and the best news comes out, then the evil is going to try to show its ugly head even more. Since Charlie Kirk's passing, and we brought this up a few days after Charlie's passing, but I want you to listen to this right here. It says, Christian engagement surges in the U.S. after Kirk assassination. She said, new data shows Bible sales are up 41%. Shows that faith apps are downloaded 80% more. Christian music has streamed more than 50%. It says that everything is starting to trend in the way of America being more Christian-like. Now, you won't hear that from Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, or Myron Gaines, or Ian Carroll. You won't hear that from the left. So it shows when they start working together against this, evil is showing its ugly head. Did you know that the Catholic Pope now has just built a Muslim prayer room in their library? You're going to start seeing the wheat from the chaff. You're going to start seeing true Christianity versus false Christianity. You're going to start seeing true conservatism versus false conservatism very, very soon. And I'm challenging you, in the midst of great things like that revival could break out. Took a tragedy, but revival could take out. At the same time, the harder we see revival break out, it's going to be the harder you see the demonic forces against it. Pay attention and focus on the truth, not what people are telling you. I hope I can share truth all the time. My goal is to share you my opinion, but also truth. But please, don't even just take my word for it. Research the stuff for yourself. That way you can make sure that you have knowledge and wisdom, that you're not being led astray. Do not trust these woke right. Do not trust the left. And seek Christ. That's what I could tell you. Love your family, have kids, raise your own food, be independent, see the value of not being in debt, build a sustainable life. That is the way. Guys, let me know your thoughts on today's video. God bless.